The Cleveland Browns have given Shedeur Sanders a golden opportunity. Is he going to take advantage of it? We'll tell you what that is and if he's going to be able to or not. Coming up here on Four Verts. Also, Sean Payton makes a bold statement about the 2025 Denver Broncos that certainly caught my attention. We'll go around the AFC here on today's show. But also, we are trying to get to 11,000 subscribers. We're less than 300 away. Can you help us get there? For Verts Faithful, if you want daily NFL content for free, plus going to work in some college football soon as we get closer to the fall, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Kevin Stefanski announced that Shedeur Sanders will start the Browns preseason opener against the Carolina Panthers. Welcome into Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Shedeur gets an opportunity here, and we'll see if he can take advantage. Here's what Stefanski had to say. He said Shedeur and Snoop, talking about Tyler Huntley, who they just signed, will be the quarterbacks that are playing in this game, and Snoop just got off the airplane yesterday, so got to catch him up. With Kenny Pickett out, Dillon Gabriel out with hamstring issues, they don't want to play Joe Flacco at 40 years old, at least in this first preseason game. You can't really ask for more if you're Shedeur, right? You know, he's been getting mostly third and fourth team reps. He's, I think, practiced with the ones once so far in training camp. And look, these teams value these practices more than preseason games now, but this is an opportunity, man. It really, really is. Also, NFL Network added, calling Wolf to be specific, that Shedeur is expected to play a lot. Why? Because Tyler Snoop Huntley just signed, and he's not going to know that many plays. So I would guess Shedeur Sanders probably plays the first three quarters, and Tyler Huntley is going to clean things up in the fourth. And again, when you get opportunities in the NFL, it's already hard enough to make it. You got to take advantage of it, no matter how large that opportunity is or how small it is. And I'm not going to act like this is some huge opportunity. It's the preseason. He's behind the other QBs on the depth chart. But, hey, go out there, control what you can control. What if he goes and lights it up against Carolina? At least send the coaching staff a message like, hey, I belong in this competition as well, because no one really believes that Shedeur's in the mix. In fact, most people believe that Joe Flacco is going to start, and that probably won't change. But could he leapfrog a Kenny Pickett? Could he leapfrog a Dillon Gabriel? Well, play speaks for itself. So he goes out there and plays well. That's what he can control. And at the end of the day, that's all he can really do. And you can't ask for more, because if all these guys were healthy, he'd probably be the guy just cleaning things up in the fourth quarter. They'd probably start Kenny Pickett, play him for a quarter and a half. Dillon Gabriel would play for a couple quarters. And then Shedeur would just be playing with guys who aren't going to make the team. So this is an opportunity to go out there and say, hey, Kevin, hey, Andrew Berry, I belong in this quarterback competition, because no one at this point really believes that he is in the mix in this QB competition in Cleveland. Now, what I've said all along is that Joe Flacco is safe and Dillon Gabriel is safe on the roster. One of these two guys, in my opinion, will get cut and or traded. Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders. Who gets cut? Who gets traded? Type KP for Kenny Pickett. Type SS for Shedeur Sanders. Give me your thoughts down in the comment section below. Okay, Sean Payton had some interesting remarks when it comes to his Denver Broncos this year, and then also his quarterback, Bo Nix. We'll get to Bo here in a little bit, but take a listen, or I'll be reading it, to what he said about his team this year. He says the short-term goal is winning the division. That should be the goal. But this is a team capable of winning the Super Bowl. I've coached 6 teams that I thought could win the Super Bowl. Some went to the championship game, some to the playoffs. This is my 7th team that I think has that. That's pretty strong from Sean Payton. That's a guy who's been around. He's coached a lot of elite teams in New Orleans, several teams that could have won a Super Bowl, one that did. Obviously, they had some shortcomings in the playoffs and some other years there with Drew Brees and company. But I would tend to agree, if I went back and analyzed all his teams in New Orleans, 5-6 teams sounds about right. That entering the season, they have a real shot to win the Super Bowl. And one of those years, in 2009, they did. For him to say that in his 3rd year in Denver and his 2nd year with this quarterback, Bo Nix, That's a pretty strong proclamation, especially when you just look not only at his division, but the AFC as a whole. I mean, I think the average NFL fan, analyst, etc., would say that the Broncos are the third best team in this division. Chiefs 1, Chargers 2, Broncos 3, and even now, I still think the Raiders are the worst team. They have a real coach. They have a real quarterback. Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. Geno Smith is much better than what they've had in Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo the last couple of years. So they're not going to be an easy out anymore. That's a real game on the schedule now. I think it's fair to have aspirations to win this division, but that's still a jump to catch Kansas City and even the Chargers. And then on top of that, how about Buffalo and Baltimore as well? I've said in the last couple of years, I think the NFC is deeper than the AFC, but that trio, the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens, has been pretty stable for years now. The NFC doesn't really offer that. So if you're Denver, you're probably going to have to beat two of these three teams to make a Super Bowl. That's a pretty tough ask with the second-year quarterback. Now, are there things on this team that Sean Payton, when he says he feels like they can win a Super Bowl, that are legitimate to win a Super Bowl? Yeah, they have one of the best defenses in the league. They have a good offensive line. Obviously, they're well coached with himself and Vance Joseph as the defensive coordinator. Like, they do have ingredients, but that's still a massive step. I feel like we did this a couple years ago or even last year. Oh, Houston's ready to join the elite in the AFC. Well, then Stroud didn't take the proper step. So if they're going to enter that mix, well, Bo Nix is going to have to take a massive step. Let's see what he had to say about his quarterback. He said he's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league in the next 2 years. That's what we're seeing right now. He doesn't take sacks. He's got exceptional arm strength. He threw the longest ball, 67 air yards against Cincinnati last year. He can run. He can throw in funny body angles. Listen, Bo Nix outreached my expectations last year, outperformed what I thought he would do. It helps when he has a guy like Sean Payton, but top 4 or 5 within 2 years. So he's going to enter the Mahomes, Lamar, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Listen, I'm not trying to discredit Sean Payton. Like, he's a guy that deserves our respect, and when he talks, we listen. But again, kind of like his team as a whole, that's a pretty big leap as well. Like, I think a good step for Denver this year would be like, hey, leapfrog the Chargers. Let's get second in the division and win a playoff game. Like, that would be a nice step. Last year, making the playoffs was a huge success. No one picked Denver. I think their over-under in Vegas was 5.5 wins. They won 10 games. I mean, they far overachieved a year ago. That's a big jump to enter the Super Bowl fray. I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't think it's very likely, though. I think you're putting a lot of faith in this guy right here to go compete for a Super Bowl. He'd have to be a top 10 quarterback in the league this year for that to be possible, because even if their defense is the best or one of the best in the league, in today's NFL, you at least have to have an above-average offense to have a chance to compete for an NFL Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to have that. Their running game, I still have question marks, so we'll see what happens. Listen, Sean Payton's confident. I'm not trying to just shoot down what he's saying. I don't think he would just blow smoke on this situation, but consider me a little skeptical. I think they'll be a playoff team. I don't view them as a Super Bowl contender. Are you a Bo Nix believer? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm a believer in the sense that I think he'll be a solid starter in this league. Elite, I don't know if I can get there. Top 4 or 5 in the league, I'm definitely not making that jump. Sean Payton's with him every day. I get that, but top 5, I'm going to have to see a lot more to get there. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of For Verts. The NFL preseason gets rolling tonight. That is very exciting. We'll have some preseason takeaways as the days go on, so be on the lookout for that. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.